Everybody, welcome back. I'm Yumble, and our last video got me thinking really hard about roundabouts and how they could be improved or juiced up, as I said in the previous video. When I said that, I didn't realize that it would send me down a small rabbit hole trying to optimize the thing harder than I've seen before. But today we're going to be playing a lot with roundabouts and trying to get as much throughput as we can. So if you love roundabouts and you're not already subscribed to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I make a lot of videos describing the do's and don'ts of roundabouts and how to build them. But also, if you don't like roundabouts, please feel free to subscribe. I make a lot of videos that have nothing to do with roundabouts too, so it's kind of whatever I want, really. And with that, I'd like to bring you on a short adventure to Maximum Roundabout. Enjoy. Today we're going to be working on Interchange Test Map, my home away from home, apparently. But this is the setup. I've got this ring road here, and I've broken it in specific places so that the exits are grouped together in twos to force traffic roughly evenly through the center. It never works out perfectly even, but that's part of the fun. Just so you can replicate that if you want to do your own experiments. And the way that I'm going to set this roundabout up, it's going to be a 5-unit radius or a 10-unit diameter. So this is actually going to be, that makes it an 80-meter diameter, which is a very large roundabout by reality's standards. So all we're going to do here is the curved road tool. I'm going to measure 5 units out from the center. I'm going to go 5 units up, 5 units over, and just make this shape the whole way around, just using the guides. And I know by Cities Skylines standards, most of you have probably built a bigger roundabout than this, but for a real-life roundabout, this is a rather large one. So that's the bones of what we're going to be using all day today. Let's do the setup, and we'll run a bit of traffic through it. All you have to do in Traffic Manager is click Priority Signs, hold Shift, hold Control, click the roundabout, and it'll automatically set up priority rules, including yields for entering traffic, and the party button is also clicked on every exit for through traffic. So this is the button that allows traffic to enter a blocked junction. That happened on all sides, so traffic is allowed out for free. This is the bones of it, and this is a very good starting point as we expand into the roundabout journey. Okay, we've got some traffic flowing through it, and it's backed up. Basically instantaneously when the cars showed up, the line started forming and it started backing up. But that's to be expected. This is a small 1-lane roundabout with 1 lane entering, 1 lane leaving on all sides. Very low capacity, but very safe in real life. So there's a benefit there. It's also much better than a 4-way stop sign. So there's plenty of reason to use a roundabout, but this one is not the one for the job. Let's upgrade everything, and we'll see if we can't improve it a little bit here. I would say the next step on the journey is probably a turbo roundabout. So we're going to go into our 4-unit roads. Excuse me, we're going to do 2-unit. Let's do a 2-lane 1-way road. So we're upgrading this to 2 lanes. And the setup for this is rather similar, though I am going to upgrade all of the incoming roads to 4 lanes. There we go. So I've got the 4-lane road coming and going. So this is going to be a variant of turbo roundabout that we're going to be setting up. So go to your priority signs once again, hold Shift, hold Control, click the roundabout, and that'll set up priority rules on the roundabout as determined in the Traffic Manager settings. So you can change your priority rules for roundabouts if you want, but this is the automatic one that comes with it. So for this configuration, we're actually going to change things up just a little bit. The way that this works out for a turbo roundabout, at least the variant that I'm doing, we're going to allow for right turning traffic to also go straight in this right lane. So just using the lane tool, don't even use lane connectors for this. It'll get too confusing too fast. But for this situation, allow them to go straight and right on 2 of the sides. So just like that. And then on the other 2 sides, make them, allow them to have a straight and right from the center lane. And this one, straight and right from the center lane. So what this actually does, as far as the journey of the vehicle, it allows both of these lanes to cross the entire roundabout and go out the other side. So it allows more throughput on the dominant road. In this situation, I don't know that there is a dominant road. Between you and me, this isn't going to cut the mustard either, but it's a step on our journey, and I figured we should visit the turbo roundabout. So let's let traffic kind of find its way in this world and think about all the changes I've just done. Generally, what you want is as I said, the priority road will have, just to the right of it, it'll be allowed to progress straight through to go through the roundabout, which sort of limits the cross street a little bit in terms of capacity. You'll see they're going to be grouping on the inside lane for the most part, because that's the lane that allows them to go straight through. On this side, they're going to be grouping in both lanes. So, still not the ideal setup, but I didn't assume that it would solve our problem today. I'm going to have to clear this traffic eventually, but rest assured, if I clear the traffic and leave it just here, this will also back up. Though it's nice, 2 lanes is actually not the answer here. So logically, I guess we'll have to go to 3 lanes. Let's just keep upping the ante. 3 lanes, and I've also changed this road to be a 3+2 asymmetrical from the Vanilla Plus roads pack. Now let's do our priority setup again. Shift, Control, click. Cool. So this is what I would call a Cities Skylines turbo roundabout. Another turbo roundabout variant. And basically the way this automatically sets up is the 3 lanes are the magic here. Something else I like to do that I did on the previous one is connect all these by hitting Control S so traffic can get to the front a bit easier without bunching. But yeah, this is the Cities Skylines turbo. Essentially, the left lane is for left turning traffic, the center lane is for straight through traffic, and the right lane is for right turning traffic, and the only way that they get to exit the roundabout is by getting to the outer lane. So the connectors would work out. If I were to use intersection marking tool on this, you would see that they are supposed to change lanes, and they're not. Here, let's do lane connectors. From here on out, I think it's lane connector city, if I'm not mistaken. But all we have to do is push the people from the inner lane towards the next lane out. And maybe even the center lane as well. Here, let's see if this... Let's push this one out as well. But basically, we want them to be moving towards the outer lane their whole way around. And you'll see the journey of this dump truck here is... Oh, they have no journey. There's their journey. You can see they're turning left because that's the only way that you can go from the left lane. If you pick the left lane, you're going left. Guaranteed. So we've foregone the option of a U-turn here in favor of pure throughput, pure capacity. And it looks like it's okay, but in reality, it's still going to be quite backed up. Let's do 4 lanes and do some lane connectors and see how it fares. I've already upgraded the incoming and outgoing roads to a 4+2 asymmetrical road. Now for the roundabout, we're going to need 4 lane. We're kind of leaving the realm of reality a bit at this point. We're getting into the juiced up roundabout territory from the previous video. So it's my idea of a juiced up roundabout anyway. With this one, we're going to do the standard setup once again, but we're going to take a small liberty with the lane arrows. I'm going to allow for traffic to go right or straight from the second lane on all sides. What this does is it actually adds the opportunity for 2 through lanes of traffic to happen, because otherwise 2 through lanes can't happen. Basically, on this map, you're dead in the water. If you don't have at least 2 lanes of traffic allowed to go straight across, it never works out. One more thing, or a couple more things that you can do to these roundabouts to make them work a little bit better. This is a 30-mile-per-hour road. I'm going to reduce it to 20 miles per hour, I think. And that'll help the cars get more grabs. When they're yielding, they can get in a little quicker. And then the other little trick, this is all optional, of course, but if you want to ease the turns a little bit, you can just use Node Controller and just increase the smoothness a bit. We'll go to like 14 meters for this one. Just to ease that entry, that angle of entry and allow for a bit more speed. So we're getting much more flow on this one, and you can see 2 lanes of traffic are successfully rocking and rolling through. But I don't think it's going to solve our backup. In fact, here, let's clear traffic and try this roundabout from the start, and we'll see how it does. So cars have just started showing up. This is essentially the juiced up roundabout from the Uncanny Junctions video. So I already know what's going to happen, but right now it looks like it's close for a little while, but eventually, oh yeah, yep, it's starting. The lines start coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. It will back up on all sides, without a doubt. The next logical step is possibly to add a lane, but also possibly to add a traffic light. Let's think of our options here. As traffic backs up, oh yeah, this side is gone. This side is going. This side is trying really, really hard, but unfortunately the rate of arrival is not matching the throughput of the actual junction. Yeah, this is not the one. Let's look ahead and see what other roundabout magic we can perform. Now things are getting serious. This is a 5-lane roundabout. I don't suppose this would be particularly safe in real life, because that left-turning traffic is going to be a bit wild. But for this one, we're going to set it up anyway. Same setup we did, Shift, Control, click with the priority signs button in Traffic Manager. And this one relies heavily on lane connectors. So the goal with adding the extra lane, is to force it so that there's a dedicated right turn lane, which we now have. So still the same 4+2 road incoming on all sides, but we have 2 dedicated turn lanes and lane math to reflect that. So the right turn is kind of a slip lane. It sort of gets its own, not really actually, by the end of this that won't be a slip lane really, but they turn to the right and they are then forced to exit a moment later on this line. The center traffic, so this traffic, skips the second lane in an effort to go all the way around and then come out over here and be forced into these lanes. So you'll see that would net a through traffic, a lot of dedicated through turning traffic there. Now this one is the left turn, which comes in to the far left lane, and then the next time it comes out, I think it just goes up a level, and that should take care of it, because it would bring it out here, which would let it leave here. So I'm fine with that. So we'll have it go down a level. I'm going to make this happen on all sides, and we'll see how well this works. This is the first one that is actually putting up a decent fight. I've been watching it for the last few minutes, and I haven't had to clear traffic at all. This side appears to have reached kind of equilibrium. This side has almost cleared a few times. So has this side. And this side is still backed up too. I know that if we can get 1 or 2 of these sides to clear, that it will actually work. So let's do this. Let's do something a bit crazy. I'm going to turn on the party button, aka enter blocked junction, on the incoming lanes, because this is going to allow... It's totally... We've left the realm of realism already, but this is going to allow traffic to enter at a dangerous rate, but it may save the day in terms of traffic flow. I'm going to let that run for a minute with the party button active on all sides. Look at that. This side's about to clear. If you can get one side to clear, that frees up a whole nother side, which is really good. Exciting stuff. If this doesn't work, I have other tricks up my sleeve, but I'm going to give this a minute and we'll see how it runs. I gotta say, the 5-lane roundabout is putting up a phenomenal fight. These 2 sides are on the verge of clearing, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. I think the traffic trickling in on either side will be enough to box out the east-west as it's oriented now. They are just getting slammed. So with a little bit of help though, let's put some mustard on it, shall we? Let's put some juice on it. I would like to do the unthinkable and add a timed traffic light. So I've selected timed traffic light from Traffic Manager, clicked all 4 junctions within the roundabout, and we are going to do a kind of a 3-leg, kind of a standard light setup, I think. There are probably other ways you can do this that rely on the capacity of the roundabout. The way that I'm going to approach this does not rely on capacity, the size of the roundabout. It's going to work a lot like a 4-way intersection, actually. But we're going to we're going to hit change mode on all of the inside roads to break out that light. The outside, it doesn't matter. There's only one way they can go, so like whatever. Do you want to go do you want to go do you want to go green or red, or do you want to go green and red with an arrow? The result is the same, much like in the previous video. That's a lot like what hitting change mode on a straight road looks like. But for this, we're going to break out the lights, and the right turns can always be green. So here, let's do something like minimum time 5, maximum time, I don't know, 30. Like something really quite extended. I'm going to turn the flow sensitivity down to 3, which means that if the flow drops below a certain value in between 5 and 30 seconds, the cycle, the phase will change and the light will continue on. But we're going to do this in 4 phases. So the first phase will be, let's pick a side. This side will be green. The right turning traffic can be green all around all the time. That's perfect. So this side is green, which means the straight through must be red, which means these now we want it to continue on through this junction, and through this junction, and through this if we want. I think that's kind of optional, but yeah, everything else should be red. That's good. And the way this works is we're going to chase the roundabout around clockwise. So the traffic on right-hand driving traffic, we're going counterclockwise with the vehicles, but the light is going to change counterclockwise to go against that intentionally. So I'm going to hit add. Then the next step will be the same, except this light will stop. The through traffic can then go. This through traffic must stop going clockwise, and the entering traffic can go clockwise. Add. Now the same thing again. Add step. This traffic has to stop. Through traffic can go. Entering traffic is allowed in going clockwise, but the through traffic must stop to allow them in. That's where the magic is. So we're going to have a lot of additional throughput because, add step, you have to stop, you get to go. Because every side will get its own dedicated light cycle. I'm going to hit start. Let's see how this works. I haven't actually tried these specific numbers, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it will be okay. Oh yeah. At this point, it should have the same throughput as a regular traffic light. So a regular traffic light, a 4+2 traffic light, would have similar throughput to this. Because that's what it is. That's literally what's happening here. Cool. So far, so good. Some people are not obeying the rules at times. That's okay. It might be my traffic manager settings. But overall, it's working as intended. I'm going to let this run for just a couple minutes, and I'll be back in a moment, and we'll see how it is. This has to be one of the hungriest roundabouts I've ever seen, as it just eats traffic. It's just consuming the vehicles and spitting them out, as we would want it to. All sides have cleared at this point. Everything is working excellently. This was the worst side, I think. This is the one that was way out, back in nowhere. But yeah, this is just eating with a kind of a 3-leg light situation. Really, really cool. What I will say, something that I did have to modify to help it work a little bit better, is instead of thinking like a modern roundabout, it's no longer a roundabout really, it's a traffic circle at this point. So I threw the logic of slower out the window, and I just said the roads are 35, this is going to be 35. So you still do have perhaps the safety benefit of vehicles having to go around a curve, so you don't really have that T-bone potential as readily as a normal intersection, but this still has about the throughput of a normal light of this configuration, right? Where all the traffic goes on one side, and then the next side, then the next side. But it's great. Everyone gets out of each other's way, and the whole world moves a little bit smoother if you can wait a moment. That's the whole logic of the light. Plus the fact that we have a ton of lanes going in. But could we add more? Should we add more? I don't know. First, I'm going to dress this idea up, and I want to show you what it may look like in a slightly different universe, how good this can look. There we go, a little bit of intersection marking tool, and a slightly different network. All of the incoming and outgoing roads are the same network. I've just marked them up with intersection marking tool. But I upped this to a 6-lane one-way. The road that comes with the game, actually, the vanilla 6-lane one-way. And I did that because it allows us to add a separator for those right turns, just to further illustrate that those right turns are separate and to really show how the lanes work out with this configuration. I will say that with a traffic light, this is realistic enough. As long as it's light controlled, this is realistic enough. If it were not light controlled, I would say that that would be an unrealistic scenario. But with the traffic lights thrown in and the markings and the whole deal, as I said, it's a 6-lane road. We're only actually using 5. I just wanted to... You can see how cool that island looks. If we consolidate this piece with this lane, it just looks beautiful. And on 3-speed, you'll see that this is just crushing traffic. Same light setup that I showed you how to make a moment ago. I think I did a minimum of 5 seconds, a maximum of 40 seconds for this one, and a flow sensitivity of 0.3. But yeah, it's just beautiful. It's imagine taking something so simple and elegant and clean and adding lights to it and a bunch of curbs and a bunch of craziness. But this is what optimizing the roundabout looks like, especially in Cities Skylines. As I said, with traffic lights, this would work in real life. Without traffic lights, it would be a damage generator and an accident generator. But with the lights, I would say that this is a safety upgrade on your typical 4-way traffic light altogether. The real good news about this is we're not done juicing it up yet. How can things get crazier, you may be asking? How can we go any further? We've already gone, we've already created a black hole. What's more dense? We're not quite there yet. Let me show you. And you thought it couldn't get any worse. This monstrosity is an 8-lane one-way road, and I've opted to use one of those lanes as a separator. So I killed one of the lanes to separate the left turn from the rest of it. The markings are kind of beautiful. If you ignore how much asphalt and paint and concrete it takes to create this, it's beautiful in its own right, and it just decimates traffic. I've also opted to swap out the road for a 3+5. So 5 lanes entering, 3 lanes leaving. The real benefit of this is the center 3 lanes are all through traffic. So those 3 lanes of through traffic no longer stack up all the way back to here. We can take that amount and push them to the front of the line. They can pick whatever lane, and they can all stack up, just like at a traffic light. So this is kind of the safety benefit of a roundabout is still present, but it is not a roundabout. It's more of a traffic light with a circular pattern to it. What else is of note? Here, let's take a look at the lane setup, just so if you want to recreate this thing. I'll probably link the description in the... Sorry, link the 8-lane one-way road. It was the only one that I saw in the workshop that wasn't a highway. But I'll link that in the description. Here are the lane connectors. Holy cow, so many colors. You can see we've got 5 lanes entering. The second lane, so the right lane turns into the closest right lane. The second lane in skips 2 lanes because we don't want them to make a right turn. We want them to go to the next set of roads. And then I skipped a lane. This is the extra lane. I only needed 7 lanes, so I figured we'd make a divider instead. The left turn goes all the way to the left lane. The next time the left turn moves, it comes down 2 lanes to here, at least in the way I have it set up. And then these 3 lanes of through traffic all move to the far right. So these all get pushed over, and the markings show that fairly nicely, I think. The markings do a pretty good job of illustrating what we've done here. So that is great. And this is probably the most fun to watch of all of them. If you just look, it just destroys. It absolutely destroys. And I have it set up in a way where the light will change once traffic drops below a certain level. I told you about it earlier. I think I did... Oh, let's see. 10 to 40 seconds. So the light can be as long as 40 seconds, but it never actually needs to be 40 seconds. It usually changes just after 10 seconds, honestly. So that time it went for about 18 seconds. The flow sensitivity is 0.3 as well, if you're trying to replicate this. But that is a beautiful and terrible solution with a very cool side effect, actually. Let's take a moment and remove the traffic light. Now our lane math is sufficient. As I said before, the traffic light makes this real and makes it realistic in a sense. Without it, it's not realistic. But check it out. I believe this will still work. I believe this will still work. I want to set up yields on the entrances. Anything else? I think that is it. Let's just let this thing... Let's just let it roll. Just watch the magic. So the beauty of this, the reason that it works is because it has 3 lanes of through traffic, and they can all get through very, very rapidly. This left turn, I see it struggling already, but it may catch up. And other than that, I see no issues. This side has been clear the whole time. This side just cleared. This side is clear. This is a lot of lanes to yield across. I don't think that anyone should have to yield to so many lanes of traffic, because it's just dangerous. It's just asking for a T-bone in this situation. But in Cities Skylines, where none of that really matters, this is beautiful. This is just crushing. So in a sense, I've corrected my own hypothesis from a few months ago where I said that no roundabout can handle this map. This roundabout can, at the cost of all realism, of course, at the cost of all semblance of... This is... Welcome to Ridiculousville. But either way, I think it's a very cool... I think it's cool to think about, and I think it's cool to push the limits of roundabouts and show what they can do. If a roundabout needs a light to work, no big deal, just add a light. If you need to add this many lanes, there's probably better options out there. But I will say that an 8-lane roundabout, technically 7 lanes, a 7-lane roundabout can handle the traffic on Interchange Test Map. A quick little note regarding the lanes on this thing. If I wanted to, I could allocate the left 2 lanes to be 2 left turns, and that would be fine as well. Currently, this has 1 left turn that goes through the whole thing, but if you want to reallocate these and change the way the connectors work, that's totally viable. If you have disproportionate left-turning traffic from one direction or all directions, and you don't need 3 lanes of through traffic, or you need an extra lane of right-turning traffic, or, you know, not as many straight-through lanes, it's whatever you want. This is fairly flexible, much like a traffic light. The lane math will shift based on your needs and the context that you're using it in. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out and listening to me talk about roundabouts again. This was very fun. I didn't really consider that things could be pushed this far until I sort of had to come up with solutions. I had to make it happen somehow, but I really appreciate you coming along for the journey. Feel free to subscribe here. I try to come out with a couple of new videos a week, so definitely this is a good place to be. I also stream twice a week on Twitch. So if you're looking for a live experience, come on over. We also have a Discord server, a very active Discord server, talking Cities Skylines and, you know, all kinds of cities-related things. You can share your builds and such. But that is all I've got for today. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.